Hey there, I'm Amy from thecrazycraftlady.com. Today I'm going to share my favorite way to repurpose seasonal wall signs. I know we've all seen them at Hobby Lobby and Michael's and Joann's or wherever. Maybe not Joann's anymore, sorry, too soon. So like I've got this little guy, God bless America, super cute for decorating in the summer, but what if I want to repurpose it for like Christmas or spring without having to like store these? Because this might be a little guy, but I have some bigger ones like this spring one is pretty big, so maybe a little bit more difficult to store. So if you want to be able to keep this up year round without having to put it into storage, or like even this guy, like feathers, I'm kind of over that. That was my decor style before, but I want to repurpose this into something different. I'm going to show you how to do that pretty quickly, easily, and for not very much money. Let's get making. All right, the key to success for this project is using foam poster board. Like you buy it at a dollar store or any craft store. Usually I think we got it at Target too, but it's just a foam board. They're like $1.25. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna measure it so that it fits right inside whatever frame you're doing. So for my first example, I'm gonna use this little frame just so that it fits nicely on my craft desk, and I can show you how. But err on the side of cutting it a little bit bigger than a little bit smaller, because you want it to be able to rest right inside that frame on its own, like that it'll be tight enough, there'll be enough resistance. And so I just measure it with a ruler and a pen, and then I just use, it's called a pen blade. I buy them in a 3-pack on Amazon. I'll link to them below or in the video description. And you just slice through all the layers of the foam board there. You could also use like a razor blade or an X-Acto knife. Just be very careful, don't cut yourself. Score it on the front and then flip it over and score it on the back. I should have known better. Whenever I film white poster board, my camera gets unfocused because it doesn't know what to focus on. So I'm sorry, things got a little blurry, so I tried to cut out some parts that weren't helpful there. But then you'll see, here's my first try. It was a little bit big. I'd rather have it be bit too big than too small, because you can always just grab a ruler. I like to use a metal ruler for this, and slice off the tiniest bit of foam board on like a cutting mat with your pen blade, and then you can pop that piece of foam back in the frame, trim it down as many times as you need until it just sits in there nicely, but then it will pop right out. And then I just made this printable in Canva. I'll link to it if you guys want to do it. But this is great for using free printables that you find on Pinterest or on other blogs or whatever. Just maybe play around with the size that you print it. Print it at, 50% or 80%, depending on what size you need. Center it right on your piece of foam board there. I held it up to the light and secured it with a piece of double-sided tape so it was nice and centered. And then I don't have the best corner folding technique here, but you start with one side, fold it over, tape it on the back, cut a little triangle off the corner there, and then fold in those corner pieces nicely, and then keep taping all the way around until the whole thing is folded over all the way around and your little foam board piece there is covered. And so here you can see you can just pop this right into the frame for, spring. And then when spring is over, just grab your pen blade, or a paint can opener works really well because it has that little curve. And then you can pop it right out and make another one for fall or summer or Christmas or whatever. And that way you don't have to keep these in storage. So here's a bigger one. This frame is bigger than a piece of printer paper. So here's my workaround for that. You're going to basically make a photo mat. You can use craft paper, you can use wrapping paper, you can use wallpaper scraps, any type of solid or decorative paper that coordinates with your printable. So I'm going to speed this up here because I'm just repeating that process of very carefully measuring, marking with a pen on your poster board, and then using a pen blade to cut the poster board piece down to size. So here I have that. And then I got this roll of, it's just green craft paper. So instead of brown craft paper, it's green. But like I said, gift wrap works just fine. Corkboard paper, any big paper, right? And you're going to repeat the process that I did with the printable on that first example only just with this paper. So tape it all the way around, cut the corners, fold the corners, tape it some more. And then I just use my paper trimmer to trim this printable down to size. So I think I printed this printable at 70%. I maybe made it a little small. You could print it bigger, 80 or 90%. But then trim off all the white edges. And oh, this was printed on cardstock. I would not print on printer paper because it would just look too flimsy. Cardstock is definitely the way to go. But then once you have it trimmed down to size, you can just use double-sided tape, a little tiny piece in each of the 4 corners on your printable there, and then center that right in your frame. And so it's kind of like you have a photo mat with your image inside. You could also print a family photo. That would be, any photo you like. So here's a fall one, and then here's an even bigger frame, and this, I think I've used this for 5 Christmases now. It's a big spring sign, so like the gift wrap is kind of starting to take a toll, but I've used it like for 5 Christmases. It's gotten a little worn out. I had to add a little loop of masking tape on the back to get it to stick in the frame. But this is a great way to repurpose these year after year after year. And then you don't have to keep them in storage. You can keep them out all year long. I hope this little trick was helpful for you. Until next time, happy making.